Okay. I'm going to sit on a blanket, just like we do when we're starting any class, because when we're doing a forward fold, we're using our hamstrings. It's going to be more comfortable if you're sitting on a blanket. I'm going to slide my legs underneath the chair, and I'm going to slide the chair close enough to me that I'm going to fold over it like this. So I'm going to make the adjustment here with this blanket I have to go underneath my knees. I'm going to slide that to underneath my knees where it's in a comfortable position. And I have a blanket and a pillow here. If I feel like I don't need the pillow, then I'll pull the pillow out. I'm going to fold my arms across the blanket and I'm going to let my head turn to one side and let my head come down on my arms. If you don't like the way it feels to have the blanket under your knees, pull it out. If you think it would be more comfortable to have your legs wide, bring your legs outside of your chair. If you want something under your knee, slide something under your knee. Okay? So this might feel more comfortable for you. If you don't have a chair, I'm going to slide that blanket underneath my knees. I'm sitting on my other blanket, and I'm going to take this pile of pillows I have. Maybe I'll put a blanket on top, and I'm going to build myself up until I feel like I can get into a comfortable forward fold. This feels even a little bit too low for me. So I don't want to feel like I'm straining my back. I want to feel like I'm comfortable in my forward fold. Not like, oh man, when is this going to be over, right? I want to feel like, oh, this feels great, and I could stay here for a really long time. So we're going to start to breathe ourselves into that place where we're planning on spending the next 5 to 7 minutes. When we're about halfway through, I'm going to ask you to turn your head the opposite way. Some of you also might decide to just be on your forehead. I feel like my pillows are a little bit low for that. Having my head turned to the side feels better for me, but you might find if you're on a chair, it feels better to be on your forehead. Okay. If there's any questions that you have, unmute yourself and ask them, and then mute yourself again. Otherwise, we're going to get set up for this forward fold, either legs together or legs wide, either on your chair or across your lap. Use your deep breaths to get yourself settled into the posture. Long, deep breaths. As you exhale, we let go, we let go, we let go, and we feel ourselves connecting to the places where our body is touching something. So your pillow, your blanket, the floor, wherever you're touching, you're sinking into those places, and we're just going to let go. We're going to let go of our thoughts. We're going to let go of our need to control anything, and let yourself melt into the posture. Let the breath return to a quiet, natural breath. Breathing in and breathing out. If you have your head turned one way, now's the time to turn it the other way. I'm going to slowly and mindfully move out of this posture. So letting yourself sit upright. We're going to push the chair out of the way. We're going to push the props out of the way. And we're going to set up for the next posture, which is a side bend. So I've taken 2 pillows here and I've put a blanket on top. This is something that I would normally use a bolster for, but I know a lot of you don't have bolsters out there. I had them when I was in a studio, working in a studio for everybody. That's what a bolster looks like. If you're using a bolster, you would use it this way so the long side was facing your body. So that's what I've tried to replicate here with a couple of pillows. And these are pretty sturdy pillows. And then I've got a blanket here. We're going to do, as I said, a side bend. So what I'm going to do is get myself to a comfortable position next to my props, sitting like a mermaid, so that my when I start to recline over my props, my rib cage lands on my props. I'm going to slide the lower arm, it doesn't matter which side you start on. I'm going to slide the whatever arm is closest to the floor all the way out. So I've got a blanket here, catches my arm. I even have a blanket out here. So you don't have to, if you don't have that many blankets, your hand could come to the floor, but it feels kind of nice to just lift the floor up a little bit closer. And then your legs are really going to be arranged in a position that's comfortable for you. So if it feels better for you to separate your legs and maybe put a blanket sort of in between them like that, remember we're filling in space. Or if you like the idea of having them more stacked one on top of the other, that works too. We want to have our shoulders in line with each other because to finish this posture, we're going to lift up the upper arm and let it come hanging down over our head. So this is, I'm going to say, one of the more yang postures that we would have in this kind of a practice because there's a little bit more energy required to keep yourself in this position. So I'm going to let my head drop down and I'm going to feel out the waters here. And if I don't like the way it feels, if it feels too intense for me to do this, I'm going to put something underneath my head, in between my head and my arm. So I've got a little bit more support for my head. So you really have to kind of play this by ear and see what works best for you. Because that top arm is going to hang. And that's what's going to give us the lateral bend. If you're too far back, you're not going to feel a stretch in your side. So scoot yourself forward so that you feel an opening through your rib cage. Just that little bit of an adjustment I just made opened up that space in my ribs, and now I feel a nice big stretch through my side body. We won't hold this one as long because it's a little bit more intense. Some of you are not going to like having your arm in this position. If that's you, do the best you can to get the stretch here. So if your arm isn't here, try it here instead. Or even wrap it behind you and put it on your low back. Because I know there's some of you that have trouble lifting your arms up over your head. So if that's you, try your arm in a different position, knowing that we're trying to get a nice stretch for the side. And then like everything, we're going to sink into it. We're going to use the big breath first. I always like to use that big breath and say, yes, it is my intention to let go as fully as I possibly can using this breath, this wonderful tool of the breath. And then when I get there, I'm going to try to just be present to my body and the gentle breath that moves through it. And we'll sink in. Again, if you have to change positions, something's going to sleep, your arm's falling asleep, whatever, change positions. Do not suffer. This is not a class that's about suffering at all. So let yourself go. So from wherever you have been, let's bring the top arm down to your pile of pillows and blankets. Push yourself up enough that you can get yourself turned around. So your knees are going to be going in the opposite direction. So now you've got the other side of your body facing your props. And you're going to let yourself stretch out with the bottom arm long. Let your head rest on your arm, or if you want to fill in that space with your blanket, do that. Adjust your legs and fill in with props wherever you feel it would be beneficial. And then we'll let the top arm come up and over. You may feel differently side to side. You might find that you need more props on this side than the other, or less props than you used on the other side. So make all of those adjustments. Remember, we're trying to find a stretch in the rib cage, trying to open up that space for the breath. And that's the most important thing. So if you need to move your arm because your shoulder isn't feeling good or whatever, just make those adjustments for yourself. Fill in with props. Feel supported. Should feel very supported in a restorative class. We'll use the deep breaths to sink in, and then we're just going to relax and let go, trying to keep our mind just on the breath and the body, away from all of the other things that we have going on in our busy lives. Being completely present to what we're doing now, feeling, let this being a sensual feeling experience, and sinking in. Wherever your top arm is now, we're going to bring it back to your pillows and props and push yourself up. If your props are longer this way than they are this way, if you're using square pillows, you can leave them where they are. But if you've got pillows that are more rectangular, turn them now so that the shorter edge is closest to you. We're going to find our way into a supported child's pose for the next 7 minutes. So when I'm doing supported child's pose, and don't worry if you can't do child's pose, I'm going to show you an alternative to this. I take my knees wide. I like a wide-legged child's pose because then I can get my props in between my knees a little bit. You're going to want to build this up high enough that you're going to actually want to stay here because you're going to be hugging it like a big teddy bear and turning your head one side and then the other, as I call halftime, if you want to call it halftime. Some folks have trouble being here for a long time because their ankles don't like it. If that's you, you could consider taking your smaller blanket or your towel and rolling it up just a little bit, just a little bump, so that when your feet come back, you've got that little bump underneath your ankles, filling in that space. That always makes it a little bit more comfortable. So if you're doing child's pose like this, you might even consider putting a blanket just for your head, a little bit higher. Then this is going to be where you are. If your knees do not like child's pose and you say there is no possible way I'm going to be able to stay here for 7 minutes, do what you can, if you can. And if it's completely impossible, come to your back and be in constructive rest pose. But be in constructive rest pose in kind of a loose way, meaning we're going to let our knees drop out rather than in. So this is constructive rest. We're just going to relax our legs out this way. You can fill in all the spaces that you want to fill in underneath your head, underneath your arms, but this can be your alternative to child's pose. Hopefully some of you are already melting in child's pose. I will let you know when to turn your head the other way. Some of you might also prefer just resting your head on your hands instead of hugging your pillows. I like the hug feeling because it feels very secure, warm, nurturing to me, but that's going to be different for everybody. So once you're in your child's pose, get happy here. Soft, quiet. Let your whole body weight sink into your props. Your whole body is melting. One of my favorite visualizations with melting is to imagine a big pile of mashed potatoes and you're the pat of butter on the top of it. So imagine that warm pile of potatoes under you is just softening your body, softening all the rough edges, loose, and you're flowing into the most relaxed place that you can get. You've got your quiet breath soothing your body, bringing in fresh prana every breath. Fresh prana, healing prana, prana that knows just where to go in your body. She needs a little here, he needs a little there. And that's where it goes. So letting go, letting go, letting go. Let's go ahead and turn your head the opposite way if your head is turned to the side, and settle back in again. So from wherever you are, we're going to put our hands on the floor, push ourselves all the way up, leave your props exactly where they are, and come to sitting like a mermaid on your right hip. So your right hip is closer to your props. We're going to slide the props close to us. So if you're using something elongated, again, the short side is next to you. You shouldn't have to move your props for this. We're going to do a twist. So we're going to sit up nice and tall and twist to the right towards your props. Again, I'll give you an alternative to this if this doesn't work for you. And we're going to come right back to where we were in child's pose with the hug around our props. If that doesn't work for you and you'd rather have your hands here, have your hands here. You're either going to be on your right cheek, which is a little less rotation, or turn your head to the left and you'll have a little bit more rotation through the neck. So you decide. It's a little bit more of a stretch through your shoulder if you have your head turned to the left. If sitting like a mermaid and twisting doesn't work for you, the same thing can be done on your back. I know there's a lot of really tough knees out there. So you can come to your twist. I would put something under your head with your feet resting on the floor first and then knees dropping towards the floor. Because we're in a restorative class, I would also put something underneath my knee, which doesn't quite make it to the floor, and in between my legs to fill in the space between my legs. So if you're not happy being a mermaid and twisting from that position, then maybe this one will be better. If you're on your back, you can use your eye pillow or your washcloth. You could cover yourself up more easily. So if you're starting to get cold from holding these postures, this is an alternative for you folks. And let's sink in. Get soft. Let your shoulders, if you're on your back, your shoulders are wide and completely connected to the earth. If you're on your belly, more in a prone position here, you want your sternum to be resting all the way, both sides of your chest resting evenly on your props. We want as much support as we can get. We're going to soften into that support like someone's giving you a hug back. You're hugging those props, and they're giving you a hug back. So feel that bear hug you're getting. Sink into that bear hug. Relax. Breathe. Let's use our hands to press the floor away. We'll lift ourselves all the way up. I like to kind of come through child's pose to bring my knees to the other side. So we'll go right onto the other side. Pull your props right up next to your hips so that there's no space. Make your adjustments. Maybe you feel like you need a bigger pile of props on this side based on your experience on the other side. Whatever you need to do to make yourself absolutely comfortable, we want to fill in all of the gaps. We're going to turn towards the props. Let your whole chest rest on the props. Wrap your arms around. Turn your head to the left for an easier twist, to the right for a slightly harder twist. You can change your mind part way. You can say, I'm going to try with a little more twist to start with, and then move your head to a little less if that's what you're thinking you might like to do. If you're on your back, you're letting your knees travel to the other side, and you're filling in all the gaps. Filling in the space. So we feel like in every posture that we land in, we feel like we're getting a hug back from all of these pillows and blankets, and it's pillow and blanket love here in our restorative class. So let yourself sink into that, melt into that, or that butter on the mashed potatoes. Let go of any tension you're holding through your shoulders, your face, your neck, your hips, all those hiding places for the tension that we carry around. And letting go. Let the quiet breath fill you in and out. That beautiful, steady, reliable rhythm of breath. We're going to leave this posture now, pushing up and away from your props. We're going to move most of our props away. We're going to keep 2 blankets. We're going to our backs. We're going to keep 2 blankets and maybe a pillow. So let me show you what we're going to do here. I'm going to put a blanket here that's going to go underneath my shoulders and my head. If you feel like you have a rounded shoulder that lets your head tip back too much, so your chin is pointing to the floor when you're on your back, also use another blanket underneath your head. You may or may not need that one. I'm going to take 1 pillow for underneath my hips. We're going to come to a supported bridge pose. And then I'm going to take 1 or 2 or a combination of maybe a blanket and a pillow to go underneath my knees. So we're going to do I'm calling it bridge pose. It's really not entirely a bridge pose, kind of like a hybrid between constructive rest and bridge pose, because we're putting this pillow underneath our hips. So probably is easiest just to get to your back, put that pillow underneath your hips and your low back. It kind of covers that whole area. I've got my shoulders and my head on this blanket. I'm going to let my arms be in this position probably, though this is also a nice position with your hands on your stomach so you can hear or feel yourself breathing. Take your props. You'll have to do a little manipulating here once you're on your back with your feet, and let there be a little bump underneath your knees. So your legs are straight. We're going to let our knees sort of go where they want to go. Let's put it that way. So instead of holding our legs, because that makes us use our adductors, our inner thigh muscles, we're going to let our legs relax. If you feel like you want a more lift under your legs, well then, grab yourself another pillow. Okay, that's also very comfortable. It might even feel more comfortable for your back. Some of you might say, I don't need all this. I've got this chair. I'm going to use my chair. And you're going to do your little hybrid, maybe with a blanket on your chair, putting your legs on the chair. Okay, so I'm trying to give you some alternatives here so that you can find the place that really works for you. Legs up is always lovely. If you say, I don't like the way this feels underneath my back, then take it out. Put a blanket there instead. Maybe it feels better for you to have your back flatter on the floor. So if it feels better for you to have something under your arms, blanket under your arms, put something underneath your arms. Fill in the spaces that you would like to sink into. Allow yourself to feel as supported as possible. This would be a nice time for your washcloth or your eye pillow. Just let all that stimulation that comes from being able to see through your eyes, that disappears with your eye pillow or your washcloth. Or if you don't have that, you could take the corner of your jacket or the corner of a blanket. We make do with what we have. So let yourself sink into our bridge variation. Softening, getting heavy. Feel your body getting heavier. Become very still so that the only thing that you feel moving through your body is your breath. We're breathing in and out through the nose, if your nose is cooperating. We're going to start to ease into whatever position you'd like to be in for the Yoga Nidra. You can stay absolutely where you are if you're comfortable. You can move into Shavasana. I would suggest that wherever you end up with lots of support underneath your knees, underneath your shoulders, underneath your head. We're going to be here lying absolutely still for over a half an hour more. So if you are the type of person that gets cold easily, put on your socks, cover up. You might choose to use your eye bag or your washcloth over your eyes. Really, any position that you feel like you can relax in for Yoga Nidra is fine. I always suggest that it's a lying down position. You could be on your stomach if you prefer. You could be in a side lying position, does not matter. You could be lying on your couch or your bed if you're in your bedroom. For those of you who have not experienced a Yoga Nidra before, I will be talking most of the time. We're moving through relaxation for the 5 koshas. Those are the 5 sheaths of the self, what makes us who we are. There's a different technique for each one of the koshas. So I'll be going through each one of those. All you need to do is to listen to my voice. Sometimes you might find that you fade out a little bit, you fade back in, so be it. There's no judgment about yourself. Oh, gee whiz, I wish I had been a better listener. There's nothing like that. It's not even a thing. All right, so let go of anything like that and just say, I'm going to listen. And when I hear Leslie saying something that's great, and if I fade out and fade back in again, oh well, somewhere my subconscious heard this. I know that I'm receiving what I need to receive. At the beginning of the Yoga Nidra, we set an intention. So that intention might be how you want to be through the holiday season, or how you want to be for the rest of the evening, or what you'd like to receive into your life. But it's an intention that's stated in a positive way as if it's already happened. I am on my path to wellness. All of my relationships are harmonious. So as if it has already happened. Those are the seeds you're going to plant at the beginning. We're going to plant those again at the end, and I'll give you the opportunity to do that. But then I'm going to sign off. I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to let you be where you are. So you'll kind of know when I'm wrapping it up. I'll let you know. But you can stay there as long as you like. You can stay in bed the rest of the night if you want to. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. So we're going to start by just relaxing and getting as comfortable as possible. Building your nest around you, feeling like you're just settling into that nest. In Yoga Nidra, we try to stay as still as possible. But if your leg is falling asleep, if your arm is falling asleep, by all means move and change that. So once you get still and once you get quiet, we'll be in touch with the breath again. We're not trying to change the breath yet. There's a place for the breath in Yoga Nidra, but for right now, we're just trying to get comfortable. So sink into your space. Know that nothing else in this moment matters but what you're doing right now. You are in a safe space that's being held for you. So feel that security in the practice. You're melting into your safe space, comfortable, protected, held space. Feel your natural breath. in your body. Feel it moving in and feel it moving out. And just be connected to it as if you would be connected to a friend. Just enjoy that feeling of breath. Allow your body to become heavier and heavier, relaxed and breathing, softening all that you can, heavier still. Feel the embrace of the earth as you sink into it again and again. Breath flows in, breath flows out, and sinking in. Now's the time to state your intention. You can say it out loud if you're by yourself, or you can say it to yourself 3 times with as much feeling and emotion as you can get around it. So, in other words, we want it to come from our heart, not from our head. So, stating your intention 3 times. And then relaxing again, and we'll just move to the sound of my voice and listen to what I'm saying. Follow as best you can. As I said, if you get lost, that's fine. We're going to start with a body scan. So I'm going to name different parts of your body. And when I say that part of your body, you're going to focus on that part of your body, feeling it. So feeling it as I'm saying it, but also see it in your mind's eye. So picture it. Picture it and feel it at the same time. So we'll start with the mouth. So moving to your mouth, feel your mouth, any sensation you have in your mouth. Move to your jaw, your lips, upper lip, lower lip. Notice where the lips touch. Feel the inside of the mouth, roof of the mouth, under the tongue, the upper teeth and gums, the lower teeth and gums, the tongue, the root of the tongue, center of the tongue, the tip of the tongue. Notice any taste in your mouth. Feel the left inner cheek, right inner cheek. Now feel all of the parts of your mouth together as a whole. Your whole mouth. Move to your nose, your nostrils, the left nostril, the right nostril, both nostrils together. Notice the breath that moves through the nostrils, the nasal passages. Follow the nasal passages through the nose and up into your head. Become aware of your ears, your right ear, left ear, both ears at the same time. See if you can feel the wrinkles and the folds of the ears, the backs of the ears, earlobes, ear canals. Follow your ear canals to the inner ear. Notice your ears receiving sound. Now move to your eyes, your left eye, right eye, both eyes together, the eyelids, the eyelashes. Notice where the upper eyelid and lower eyelids touch. Become aware of the surface of your eyeballs. Feel the eyes now as energy. Feel the energy moving through your eyes. Bring awareness to the crown of your head, forehead, face. Feel your whole head at one time. Feel your neck, the back of the neck, sides of the neck, the throat. Notice the notch at the base of the throat. Notice your right palm, the palm of your hand, your right thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. Feel your whole hand alive with energy. Notice your wrist, your right forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder. Notice your left palm, and then move to your left thumb. First finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. Feel your whole hand alive and filled with sensation. Left wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder. Become aware of your upper chest, sternum, heart, belly. Move to your upper back, shoulder blades, the back of your heart center. Notice the ribs on the back body. Move to your pelvis, hips. Feel your right hip, right thigh, knee, lower leg, calf, ankle, foot, top of the foot, sole of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, the whole foot. Feel again the pelvis, and this time the left hip, thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, foot, top of the foot, sole of the foot, the big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, the whole foot. Notice both feet at the same time. Move to your navel center, then your solar plexus, your heart center. Move to the throat, the mouth, the space between the brows, the crown of the head. Feel the back body resting on the earth. Bring awareness of your whole back body as sensation alive with vibration. Feel now the front body, filled with radiant vibration. Move your awareness like liquid into the right side of your body. Feel the right side of your body. Now move your awareness like liquid into the left side of your body. Feel your left side. Feel the midline of your body. Now your whole body. Your whole body. Your whole body. Feel your whole body lying on the floor, resting in relaxation. Begin to notice your breath. Put all of your awareness on your breath. Your natural breath as it flows through you. Feel the in-breath. Feel the out-breath. As you exhale, imagine a wave passing downward through your body, carrying away all tension in your body. As you inhale, a fresh wave flows upward through your whole body, bringing a sense of calm to every cell. Exhale, wave flows downward. When inhale, the wave flows upward. Begin to count your breath as it flows in and out. Start by counting 27 to 0 backwards, like this. I am breathing in 27. I am breathing out 27. I am breathing in 26. I am breathing out 26. Continue like this all the way to 0. And if you make a mistake, start again with 27. We may not make it all the way to 0. Just count as long as you can. Now we leave the breath. I'm now going to name a number of objects. Try to envision them on the level of emotion, memory, and imagination as best you can. Do not concentrate on any one image for too long. Follow my voice and keep up with me. Jump to the next image as soon as you hear it. Red rocky desert. Long sandy white beach. Starfish on the beach. Seagulls. Peacock feather. Peacock strutting with feathers outstretched. Buddha meditating. Racing horse. A resting cat. Resting cat in a pool of sunshine. First flowers of spring. Large rolling meadow. Wildflowers of all colors in a dancing meadow. Bright yellow butterfly. Colorful sunrise. Foggy morning. Burning candle. Laughing with friends. Temple on a mountain. Tall tree. Sleeping dog. Yawning baby. Red tulip. Orange sunset. Full moon. Starry black sky. Snow-capped mountain. Your reflection in a mirror. Deep blue sea. Small waves on the beach. Swan swimming in a small pond. Frog jumping into a pond. Quiet path in the woods. Follow that path. Feel your feet upon it, spongy and yielding underneath. Smell the fragrance of pine needles as you walk. Slowly, deliberately. Count your steps. 1, 2, 3. Slowly walking, no rush. Look to your left. Look to your right. Notice the trees reaching from their roots firmly planted on the earth up to the sky. The sky receiving branches and leaves. The trees are swaying in a light, calm breeze. Feel the breeze on your skin and listen to the trees. They are talking to you in slow, quiet voices. Can you hear what they're saying? Stay for a while with the trees. Perhaps see yourself walking to the tree nearest you and wrapping your arms around. Feel the tree holding you back. Strong. Many weathered storms are stored in the memory of this tree. Feel that energy now. After a while, you decide to leave the tree and begin to follow the path again. Now you notice light beaming from the sun overhead, filtered through branches. follow the patterns of light as they play before you on the path and in the space between the trees. What do you notice? What pattern do you see? What does the sun illuminate for you? Step out now again and feel the earth supporting you as you walk. Imagine all the footsteps this earth has supported, from the time even before people walked upon it. Feel the strength and power of this floating orb. Let the energy of the earth fill you now. You continue to follow this quiet path, noticing the comings and goings of small creatures, chipmunks, squirrels, birds of all kinds, darting here and there, filled with the energy of the earth, the prana we all share. Watch them scurry, paying you no mind. You marvel at how present they are, completely unconcerned with past or future, absorbed in the present moment. Now your path leads to a wide open space on the other side of the forest. A field of wildflowers buzzing with insects and bird life. You spy a large, flat rock nearby and walk over to it. You sit down on it and begin to look around. What do you see? What does the energy of this meadow look like to you? Who lives here? See it now, the whole thing. A living organism, moving, breathing. Notice that a little distance away from where you sit is a pond, quiet and still. It looks almost like a mirror from where you're sitting and observing it. You are amazed at how calm it is, how serene it makes you feel just gazing at it. Watch it for a while, smooth and calm. Suddenly, a small frog jumps from a rock on the edge of the pond and into the water, and a series of ripples moves out from where it entered. You watch the disruption, and you notice how easily the pond becomes like glass again, calm and smooth. After a moment, you look up at the sky. Big, fluffy white clouds billow through a bright blue canvas. They change shape as they float. You notice a really interesting one. Look at it closely. What shape is it? Watch how quickly it changes into something else. There's no time to become attached to any one shape. They move and they flow. Lie down on your back on your flat rock, now warm from the sun. Close your eyes. You realize that the universe has been speaking to you. The trees, the light, the earth, the creatures, the pond, the sky. Breathe in the voices of the universe and allow them to stay in your heart. You stay on the rock for quite some time, taking in these messages, feeling this energy. It's hard to think about moving because you're so comfortable on your warm rock. But it's time to go. Something else is calling you. You sit up from your comfortable place on the rock and look out in the meadow a bit further. There's an outcropping of rock that juts quite high into the sky. And in the rock you think you see a glow, very faint at this distance, but curious indeed. So you stand up and begin to walk toward it, through the beautiful meadow, alive with the energy of the universe. As you walk closer, the glow becomes brighter and brighter, and you realize that there is a small cave in these rocks. The glow is coming from inside the cave. You are intrigued, not the slightest bit nervous, just curious about the glow. So you walk into the cave. As you enter, you notice that someone has set up a small table as an altar, and it is glowing beautifully with candles. Along with the candles, you notice that there are also several objects. Take a few steps closer. Can you tell what the objects are? Look at them carefully and pick up the one that is calling to you. What is your object? What is the message of the object? You notice a small chain also laying on the altar. Take your object and put it on the chain, and then put the chain around your neck. You're taking this object with you. With your object around your neck, you turn and leave the cave. Walk back through the meadow, through the forest path, and out of the forest. All of the messages you receive still in your heart. Now is the time to repeat your intention 3 times with as much emotion, feeling, imagination as you can. Now notice your back body resting on the earth. Feel the earth underneath you, the props that are holding you. Feel all of the places where your body touches the ground. Now notice the front body facing the sky. Notice all the space surrounding you. Without opening your eyes, imagine that space. Let your body expand into that space, into the space that surrounds you. Notice your breath. Feel its rhythm and pace. We are now completing our Yoga Nidra. If you decide you would like to stay here and relax for a while longer, please feel free to do that. If you have completed your Yoga Nidra, let your fingers and toes begin to move. Let your body slowly reawaken. Let your head turn, and then bend one knee and the other, and roll to your right side. Allow yourself a moment or two here. And then use your hands to push yourself up. It has been my pleasure to be with you tonight. I hope you all feel refreshed and re-energized to move back out into all of this holiday bustle with a full tank. Namaste.